Hello, my name is Anna Harlan, and I'm the Family and Consumer Science Agent for Stone County, Arkansas. And today I'm going to discuss basic canning equipment. A lot of people want to can, but they don't know where to start. So today I'm going to go through a few different items that you will need to get started canning. Foods typically canned using a boiling water canner have a pH of 4.6 or lower. This would include fruits, pickles, sauerkraut, jams, jellies, marmalades, and fruit butters. What you're going to need to do is select a canner. That's going to be the first thing on your list. And this is a boiling water canner, or otherwise known as a water bath canner. It looks like a simple pot, but it's meant to can. It has a wire rack inside that you'll put your jars in. You always want to make sure that rack is in when you put those jars down in it. Some other items that you're going to need for canning is a jar lifter. It'll lift your jars out of your water bath canner. An item I also like to use is a hot holder. So whenever I'm lifting a jar that's heavy, like a quart jar, I like to have this as extra support with my other hand to go along with my jar lifter. Another item that you're going to need is a jar funnel or a jar filler, and you're going to pour your food into your jars with these. They fit perfectly on a regular mouth jar. One item that I don't have with me is a headspace measurement device. Each item that you can has a different headspace requirement. And it also works well to get those air bubbles out of your foods while you're canning. Headspace is the distance between the surface of food and the underside of the lid. Leaving the specified amount of headspace in a jar is important to assure a vacuum seal. Other items we're going to need are lids. And one great thing to have in addition to your lid is the magnetic lid lifter. It works great while you're canning. And you're also going to need rings. Your lid lifter can lift those as well. You want to be sure that you don't select rusty rings like this one. I was looking through all our rings and we mostly have rusty rings. So we're going to get new, nice, clean rings. Canning lids are single use only. Rings can be reused if not dented or rusted. I also need to discuss the difference between wide mouth and regular mouth jars. As you can see, the wide mouth jar is wider than the regular mouth. And what's great about a wide mouth jar is if you're canning pickles, it's a lot easier to get those items out of the wide mouth jar than trying to pull them up through the regular mouth. Typically, the regular mouth jar, you would do liquids or sauces and things like that. Another item that you would probably want to have in your canning arsenal is the chinois set, which is French for Chinese. I don't know why they don't just call it a Chinese set, but it's a 3-piece metal set. I call it a metal sieve. And what you'll use this for is berries and other fruits. You'll put them down in there. You'll work the pestle around, trying to release the juice from the skins and the pulp and try to attempt to keep the seeds inside the sieve. So after you work your fruit through the sieve and you mostly have juice left, you'll probably want to put it through a mesh bag or cheesecloth to strain out and only have juice. There are several different sizes of jars, and regardless of what size jar you choose, you need to make sure it's a canning jar, not a storage jar. A canning jar has been tempered so that it can hold up to the high pressure and high temperature of the canning process. So we have different sizes. We have the half-gallon size, the quart size, pint, and half pint. There's also a quarter pint available as well. Whenever you're selecting your canning jars, you need to make sure that there's no chips or cracks or anything in the top of the jar or throughout, because it could bust the jar throughout the canning process. And half-gallon jars are commonly not recommended. And I have personal experience that they typically come unsealed, so I wouldn't recommend canning in a half-gallon jar. I would mostly stick to the other 3 sizes. The half-gallon jar or quarter-pint jar are both not recommended for the canning process. So that includes most of the items that you'll need to get started canning. Oftentimes you can buy those items in kits. They're available at big stores, but also even local shops in our county have canning supplies. And I hope you stay tuned for more videos on pressure canning and maybe even some canning videos coming up soon. Thank you. A few great resources for canning include USDA's Complete Guide to Home Canning, So Easy to Preserve book, National Center of Home Food Preservation website. If you have any questions or would like more information, please contact me, Anna Harlan, at 1-870-269-3336 or email me at aharlan@uaex.edu.